By this point in the year and in your general educational career, you should be pretty comfortable with theme. The theme of a novel is like the moral or the lesson or the big takeaway that the author is trying to convey. Because as we talked about, everything is written for a purpose. Everything has a purpose. Everything is trying to do something. Even if that purpose is just to entertain, there is still typically some underlying discussion or analysis of humanity, of the culture, of society, of something that the author is making a statement about. So this is true for all literature, but this is often why we study classical literature in English, where these older books have such strong themes and such strong connections to humanity that they are still relevant today, even when they've been written decades ago. So, a friendly reminder, when you're looking for theme, you want to consider the plot of the book. You want to consider the characterization of everything that people do or say or what you notice. And you want to think about what is the lesson the author is trying to teach. So, for example, if you read the book last year, The Hate You Give, yes, it was a book about a young girl who witnessed the death of her friend by the hands of the police and then struggled with the repercussions. The theme of that book was systemic police brutality or systemic racism or injustice in the justice system. Those are all broader things that you can't touch. You can't touch and identify injustice. It's a concept. It's a bigger concept. But they are things that are represented throughout Star's struggle. So Star is not just herself. She is a representative of other African American citizens in the United States that have experienced that same scenario. And also, just in general, she represents the kind of emotional struggle with that scenario by people of the same community, even if they haven't had that direct experience before. So when we're thinking about To Kill a Mockingbird, we have a book. Remember, I was saying it's written in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement. It is set in the 1930s in Alabama in a segregated rural town. It follows the trial and accusation of an African American man by two white people that he is falsely accused of a rape. It follows his conviction. It follows his death. And it follows the town's reaction and their hypocrisy as they hold themselves to this high standard of society and equal people and equal living while saying and doing horrible things to the African American citizens in their town. So I want to challenge you. I've had you state before what you think the theme is, but this time you're going to have to support your answer. Don't just Google. The coexistence of good and evil is not going to be accepted because I know you don't use that terminology. I saw it before. I want you to think for yourself. The value of doing these assignments is to have you consider what the lesson is and coming up with it, not just hearing it from an outside source. Otherwise, I would just be telling you the answer here. I want you to come up with what theme you think there is. I want you to defend it, and I want you to tell me why.